Hey y'all, so I just got back from the sip and paint. Um, I just wanted to really quick talk about my dad. Um, so basically, I grew up my whole entire life without my dad. I was raised by my grandparents. Um, when I was conceived, my mom and my grandma, that whole side of the family moved from California to Illinois, and I was born in Illinois. Um, my dad stayed back in Cali, and there's a whole other story behind that. But anyway, my dad stayed back in Cali, and my parents were really, really young when they made me. Um, so I was born here in Illinois, and like I said, my grandparents raised me. So I never really got a chance to have my dad in my life. Um, and on top of everything, my dad ended up having um, an accident um, where he was paralyzed. So it wasn't really possible for him to travel to see me. And for whatever reason, nobody ever took me to go and see my dad. Um, Long story short, y'all, I didn't end up. Now, my dad has always kept in contact with me. He at least would call me whenever he could. But I didn't meet my dad in person until I was 29 years old. I took a flight to Cali with a group of friends. We ended up getting like an Airbnb, and we ended up staying in the same city that my dad lived in. So I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to go and meet my dad in person. Um, so I ended up going to meet my dad in person, and y'all, I fell in love with him the first time that I seen him. I didn't care that he was paralyzed. I don't care that he was in a wheelchair. Like, I feel like every girl needs their dad. And I'm so happy that I got to finally be in my dad's energy. Because although he is paralyzed and he's limited in his movement, he still has his mind. He still has his sense of humor, and he still has his spirit, which I really, really love. And I think that that's where I get my spirit from. And I think my dad is where I get my mental toughness from. Um, my dad is very, very independent. He likes everything on his own. Um, and he just has such a will for life. Like um, he treats life as if nothing's wrong with him. And I really, really love and admire that about him. And he's been through so much. Like, he's been through so much that it breaks my heart, because I know that if my dad um, was not disabled and he was not in the physical condition that he was in, my dad would do anything for me. Um, I'm trying not to cry, y'all. But yeah, my dad would do anything for me. Um, and I really just hate that I missed out on just having him in my life growing up, especially because I went through so much. And I was mistreated by my mother. Um, and uh, I didn't have the benefit of having a second parent there, um, to be there for me and to protect me. And I think because I didn't have my dad, um, it made me really cling to the relationship that I was in. Um, because the person that I was in a relationship in that I was in a relationship with, he was very protective over me. And I think I've said it before, that he was protective, but just not in the right ways. Um, he was very, very I'm gonna just say controlling. I'm gonna just say controlling. Um, and I think that, and you know, I mean, my grandfather was in my life. I had my grandparents, but I told y'all before, my grandparents' way of parenting was very much church, school, home. I didn't have nobody there to teach me like no real life shit. You know what I mean? Like everything that I went through in a relationship, I didn't have my dad there. I didn't have nobody there to guide me when I first got my heart broke. When I was betrayed by a man, um, I literally had to hold myself. I literally had to pick myself up. And I just feel like if my dad was there, things would have been different. Not that he didn't want to be there or he wouldn't have been there. One of the biggest things that I was missing in my life. And I think that it's important for little girls to have their dad in their life. Like a stepdad is okay, a grandfather is okay, you know? But I just feel like it's a different type of love that a parent has for, well, should have for their child. And I got to experience that with my dad finally. And now we're to the point where we talk a few times a week, you know. I call and check on him, he calls and checks on me. And I just feel so good that I have somebody outside of the person that I was in a relationship with. I have somebody that I know got my back, you know, like I think that's why I have difficulties making friends or difficulty trusting people because I ain't never really had nobody that really had my back. Like my relationship is like, okay, a man gonna be a man. Men cheat, men lie, men do all type of things. Not saying that it's okay, but you know, those are things that you know, relationship things are things that can be worked out. But when you have a parent betraying you, when you have the person that I'm supposed to be able to go to when a man breaks my heart, I didn't have that parent. And the parent that I did have used the things that I told her against me to hurt me. So, you know, and that'll be a whole nother that'll be a whole nother video. But yeah, my dad is in my life now, y'all. He's always been in my life. Like I'm not gonna say he's completely been out of my life. He's always kept in contact with me. But I finally got to physically be in his energy, and it's different when you share a space with somebody. And just from the phone calls to our one time that we seen each other in person up till now, my dad has shown me more love through these phone calls or that one interaction that we had where we got to embrace each other. He showed me more love than the parent that was around. So yeah, that plays a big part in who I am and why I am the way that I am. If my dad never went through what he went through, and I'm probably telling it wrong, y'all, because I be remembering bits and pieces, and then I'm also a little tipsy. Which is why I'm even able to talk about this right now, y'all, because I literally been trying to hold off on having this type of discussion or to just speak on this type of thing because I'm not a person who I'm so used to, you know, just dealing with everything on my own. So it's hard for me to speak on things, you know, like I've numbed myself for so long, you know, so it's hard for me to speak on things. But anyway, like I was saying, and I'm not gonna tell my dad's whole story because that's his story to tell, for, as far as what happened to him and how he got in the condition that he's in. But I will say that my dad is a soldier. My dad a soldier, and I think that I think that I went and got the same type of man that my dad is, to a certain extent. But if my dad was in my life, y'all, things would have just been a little bit more different for me. Probably a little easier emotionally, um, because, and I think I told my grandmother this, but when I met my dad, all the feelings that I had when I had the puppy love stage, um, from my relationship, all of those feelings, I had those same feelings for my dad, and it sounds weird. Um, I don't know how I could experience uh, it's almost like a childlike love, even though I was 29 years old. Like, I just felt like, I'm a daddy's girl, and my dad just loved on me, and he held me like I was a baby, showed me so much love. And I know for a fact that he got my back, and my dad is not going to turn on me for nobody. Um, if it came down to it, and if he was in a position to do so, he would protect me any way he needed to. And I think that that's the type of protection that I've been missing in my life. And I don't know if it's just my personality, but that's one of my love languages. I like to feel protected. And I also like affection. Um, so yeah, I think that I've always been me being who I am. I'm a little bit more of a masculine energy. I'm a little bit more of a dominant woman. Not in a bad way, but just like, I have a big presence. My energy is loud. My presence is felt. Um, so I think I've always needed to have that male energy around me to be able to understand me in a way, and um, show me how I should act, or how to, um, I don't know how to say it. Not even so much as show me how to act, but just like, that could relate to me a little more with, how hard I hustle, how my mind works, the way I see the world, and things like that. Um, I just needed my dad. I really needed my dad, y'all, and I didn't have him. And it wasn't that he didn't want me. Like, my dad will tell anybody who will listen how much he loves me, and he still loves my mom. Um, my dad wanted me really, really bad, and he had no control of the situation when my family moved here, because, like I said, my parents were both so young. And he tells me a story over and over and over again about, the day that he found out that my family was going to be leaving, California. Um, but my dad loves me, y'all. I've never had nobody uh, show me as much love as he do. I've never had nobody scream to the mountaintops like my dad do about me. About how much he loves me, and how much nobody better not fuck with me. So, yeah. I'm just glad to have my dad, y'all.